Good morning, North Coast Church. My name is Austin Payne, and I'm the Fuel 910 pastor on the Vista campus, coming to you with this morning's daily dose. We find ourselves in John 15 this morning, and one of my absolute favorite passages in the whole Bible, but specifically within the Gospels as well. And in John chapters 1 through 12, he really is talking about Jesus' life and ministry and these miracles that he's doing and what he's been doing for the last 3 years, healing people, teaching. And we transition in the book of John in chapter 13 to what's called the upper room discourse. And it's really a handful of chapters here of Jesus and his guys. It's his 12 disciples, and he's really teaching with them, walking. And in John 15, we pick it up in the middle of this upper room discourse after Jesus has already talked about, if you love me, you'll obey my commands. Actually, 8 times here over the course of about a chapter, Jesus equates obedience with love. He's saying, if you love me, you'll obey my commands. If you love me, you'll obey my commands. And he's repeating this process so that they really understand this relationship of love. It comes with this requirement of obedience. And then he moves into this analogy that they would have been really familiar with of a vine and branches. And again, 12 times he uses this word abide, or maybe your Bible says remain like mine does. And it's this Greek word meno. And really, I think Jesus intentionally uses this word 12 times to really knock it into their brains of it's all about love that is filled out in obedience, but it has to come with this context of remaining, of abiding. So we're going to dive in here in verse 4 of chapter 15. It says this, remain in me as I also remain in you. This is Jesus talking to his guys. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And that's a bold statement there of Jesus looking at his guys, teaching them, saying, apart from me, without me, you can do nothing. Now, granted, they could have done plenty of things without Jesus. They could have walked and talked and gone up on with their jobs that they had been doing before Jesus had come and said, hey, follow me. And yet he's saying, you can do nothing of worth without me. Jesus thought and taught on this eternal scale. He talked about his kingdom all the time. And so he had this lens of, it's not just about this 60, 70, 80 years you have here and now. It's about eternity. It's about eternity past and eternity future. He knew where he had come from and he knew where he was going. And he's looking at his disciples and saying, you understand vines and branches and fruit. You get how this whole process works. Much like in order for a branch to bear that fruit, it must be a part of the vine. It has to be getting that nutrients, that substance, that life from the vine in order for that fruit to be healthy. He's saying in the same way, I am that vine. I'm that true vine. And that when you remain in me, when you're a part of me, when you're connected with me, when you're doing life and you love me and you're walking in obedience, that's how you're going to see that fruit. That's how that's going to become a part of your life. That root has to become before the fruit. You have to be abiding, remaining. And I think he intentionally says this 12 times so that they would have heard this word meno, abide, remain, remain, remain. And their thought is, I think we need to remain. I think we need to be a part of this vine. This has to be a life-giving thing for us. And I love that in the midst of Jesus' discourse with his guys talking about obedience and love and obedience, he brings it back to, it's about relationship. It's about this active stillness that I desire to have with you on a daily basis. That when you wake up, when you go throughout your day, as you're working, as you're walking, as you're talking, as you have these relationships, abide in me, remain in me. And as you do that, that's how the fruit is going to start showing up in your life. You're going to prove to be my disciples. You're going to prove to walk in obedience. You're going to prove that love that you have for me if you remain. Thanks, North Coast. Have a great day.